Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Hi, I'm Kerry and I'm a Disney adult, and today's video is the final video of the Disney films tier list of the 1990s. As you can see from the screen, we have put in the first 8 films, which are The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Toy Story, Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules, leaving us the 4 remaining films to put into a tier list: Mulan, Bug's Life, Tarzan and Toy Story 2. I'll just pause on the Toy Story 2. So, let's get into this. So, on to Mulan. I love this film. It's one of my absolute favourites. I wouldn't say I would put it on the same level as Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, that sort of thing. But I do think it's still a very, very strong film, looking where we've gone in the direction of, you know, if you go into the especially the late noughties, yeah, the films really did seem to take a bit of a downturn, but I haven't watched a lot of them yet, so who knows, they may be amazing. But obviously Mulan is set in China, a young woman who is obviously going into the phase where she's going to be match made, she's going to meet a man and marry him. And so she's got, at the beginning of the film, she's all kind of made up like a geisha type thing. I think geishas are Japanese. I could be wrong. Is China? Yeah, definitely China. Sorry if that came out a bit ignorantly racist. It wasn't supposed to. But, so she's struggling to fit the role that she's supposed to fit as a daughter in Chinese society. She's not very dainty and feminine. She's a lot more kind of tomboyish, and this is proven so when it is announced that the Han army has invaded China and they need one man from every household to fight in the Chinese army. The only man in her family is her father, who has a bad leg injury and is quite elderly and is not in a position to fight, and if he is to go and fight, he will no doubt not come back. So she decides it's actually ridiculous and decides to disguise herself as a boy and go to fight in the Chinese army. And the entire film is about whether she will match up, whether people will realise that she's a girl. If she is a girl, then she will be executed and will bring dishonour to her family. I think her father goes to the... Does he go to the... what's the word? The ancestors... They have like a memorial room for the ancestors, and he goes and asks them for help, and they send Mushu, a little dragon, who is voiced by Eddie Murphy and is an absolutely amazing sidekick. Every time I say possibly the greatest sidekick in so many films, and then I'll get to another one and think no, he might actually be a better sidekick. I love Mushu. I love any character that is voiced by Eddie Murphy. I mean, Donkey and Shrek, iconic. But Mulan's a great film. I find it very it's the first one that's like really motivational for women to see what women can do. Very strong feminist icon is Mulan, that she doesn't care about the fact she's a woman. The fact is she wants to be the one that can go and represent her family, and she will do that to protect her father's health. And obviously, you know, succeeds in defeating the Han army. But again, the soundtrack for this film is amazing. Reflection, I used to have Reflection on Christina Aguilera's first album, because she did the you know, the official release song that they always used to do. They used to have the song in the film, and then they'd have like a famous pop star or something sing it. In the previous film it was Michael Bolton for Hercules, Eternal, and I think Boys to Men in the UK. So in the US, or was it All for One? All for One, not Boys to Men, sorry. Both of them sang different versions of Someday. Colours of the Wind, I can't remember who did the version of that. Comment underneath if you know. Obviously Elton John did the ones for Lion King. Aladdin was Peabo Bryson and Regina Phalange. It's not Regina Phalange. I can't remember her name, I'm really sorry. And then Beauty and the Beast was Peabo Bryson and Celine Dion. So this one was not Celine Dion. So Celine Dion was Christina Aguilera. Reflection is such a beautiful song. I think so many of us can relate to it, particularly as women, in the sense that, especially in your teenage years, when you feel you're supposed to be a certain way and you don't feel you fit in because obviously, you know, we know society puts a lot of pressure on women to be a certain way. No matter whatever you do, it's wrong. You know, if you're going to be a mum, are you going to be a stay-at-home mum, or are you going to be a working mum? Either way, that it's wrong in one way or the other. Are you going to, if you're overweight, there's a problem. If you're skinny, there's a problem. If your hair is straight, it's not fashionable. If its hair is curly, it's not fashionable. Whatever it is about us, you know, skin is pale in some countries is seen as the beauty standard. In other countries, skin that's tanned is seen as the beauty standard. Whatever the case is with women, particularly as young women, in your teenage years, the pressure you have on you to decide what sort of person you're going to be, but at the same time, the ideals that your parents put on you of what you should be, and the fact you don't want to let them down, you don't want to disappoint them, and that comes through really well in Reflection. In fact, the whole story, I totally related to Mulan, because I never was, still am not. Oh, I've switched the light off. I'm so professional. There we go. I'm still at 41. I know I'm not the person my parents wanted me to be, and you need to just accept that and realize that your parents are flawed too, and so their ideals are not the perfect thing, but you being you is the perfect thing. And ultimately, that proves to be the case with Mulan. As much as her parents, you know, it's full on that even if she comes back from war as a failure, she's been condemned by her family and dishonored the family, and you know, honor's a big thing in Chinese culture, particularly ancient Chinese culture. Or she won't come back at all. She will die at war. So regardless, she might as well be dead to her family. But she still goes and does it anyway, and obviously it turns out for the best. One of my favourite songs in a Disney film is "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and I think a lot of people agree with that. I think it's easily one of my daughter's favourite Disney songs, and it's so empowering and uplifting and so much fun to dance along. Like every time it comes on in the car or something, because yeah, of course I have a Disney playlist and I do listen to it a lot. It's a duh, 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 duh of "I'll Make a Man Out of You." I just find myself doing that at the wheel, which obviously only if I'm in traffic or something. I'm not going on the motorway going da da da. Maybe I'm with one hand, who knows. "I'll Make a Man Out of You" is incredible. The music in Mulan, particularly the music when she's doing the transformation of chopping off her hair and everything, that love that tune so much, so much. I cannot even explain how much I love that piece of music. I could just listen to it over and over. In fact, I should probably just have that on the playlist in the car. I'm gonna add it. Hello, the dog's here again. He may jump up, who knows. He's just on a walk, so hopefully he'll be okay. But it's just a great film. It's so... Ben hasn't seen this one yet, and I really want him to, because I think he will enjoy it. It's a good film. Mushu's a great character. The cricket's a great character. Her grandmother's a great character. It's a pretty decent bad guy. He looks evil. And that's what you want, a really evil-looking bad guy. Her love interest at the end, which isn't really a love interest, but it becomes a love interest, and it's not even intentional. She doesn't go into it looking for a man, but it just naturally happens. And a bit like in Beauty and the Beast, this guy falls for her because of her strength, because of her character, because of her bravery. And again, I just think that's really, really positive role model for women, for Mulan to be like that. And for that, I don't think I'm going to put it in as at the S tier. It's not quite strong enough for S tier, but it has comfortably got to go into the A. So, Mulan. I got to make a confession here. I didn't actually read through A Bug's Life synopsis, so I'm going to wing it. Get it? Bug's Life, wing it, Bugs. See what I did there? Anyway. Bug's Life, the second of the Disney Pixar films. I would say it's good. It's not as strong as Toy Story or Monsters Inc. or Finding Nemo. I haven't seen Cars yet, but I don't know if it's as strong as that because I haven't seen that, so I can't base a comparison on that. But it is a good film. It is an enjoyable film. The characters are cute. Flick is so strong-willed. Hopper is he's just like that overbearing boss that just this is my way, and we're not going to do it any other way, and you're all going to suffer because I'm the boss. You serve me, you bring anything to me, and you're all going to lose out and suffer because I rule, type thing. Oh, look, I love the fact that bit in the background there by my, look, hang on, look, it almost goes around my head. Oh. Anyway, yeah, I think Flick is a great, strong character. It's very much a David and Goliath story. And then obviously he goes to the city and meets all the other bugs, which brings us to one of the greatest characters with one of the greatest lines. In the previous video, I mentioned a storybook that I don't know if it's in America so much, but certainly in other countries, there are more than just the UK and America. But in the UK, a story that most of us will have and will read our children is The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And what happens at the end of The Very Hungry Caterpillar? Heimlich says it becomes a beautiful butterfly, which has been a line I've used so many times, sometimes for no reason, throughout my life. I just really love the songs, the line, a beautiful butterfly, because that's all Heimlich wants to be. He is a caterpillar that wants to grow into a beautiful butterfly, and we love that for him. And yep. I'm not really sure what else to say about Bug's Life, because as I said, I forgot to read up the synopsis on it, and I'm really sorry. But I remember really, really enjoying it. And I really do want to watch it again. It's just unfortunately not been one of those ones I've had a priority to watch again. Ben hasn't seen it yet, so at some point he is going to have to watch it. And then I may change it on here. I think it's a pretty steady film. It's fun. I don't remember if there's songs in it. I don't think there is, because there isn't usually in the Pixar ones, is there? And I'm just going to throw it in where I feel it suits. And I may change this, but I'm going to put it in at B. So I hope you agree with that. Again, I can't apologise enough about the fact that I haven't got any I haven't done any research into this one, so sorry. But on the upside, I watched Tarzan a few weeks ago for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. What I will say is I don't like the bit at the beginning where the gorilla baby obviously gets eaten by the jaguar. You don't see it, obviously. You just see the jaguar go towards it, and then there isn't the baby is no more. And obviously you don't see Tarzan's parents die, but they obviously have, because there's blood everywhere and he's on his own. But that's basically how the film begins. There's a shipwreck. Tarzan's parents get washed up onto this island, or wherever it is. It's an island? Yeah, it is an island. And make their home, build a treehouse and live in the treehouse. Tarzan, I can't remember if Tarzan gets born there or whether he gets born on the ship. I think he gets born there. I think she's pregnant when they first get there. And then obviously Jaguar comes along and kills both his parents, but thankfully I think his parents have put him somewhere where the Jaguar's not going to get him. And thankfully Carla, the gorilla, whose baby has also just been killed by the Jaguar, finds the treehouse and finds baby Tarzan and feels sorry for him and adopts him, much to the chagrin of I can't remember his actual name, but her partner, the actual gorilla baby's father. I just call him Kochek, because every time I heard his name in the film, I think it's Kochak or something, but I just kept hearing Kochek, like when you go to a nightclub and you check your coat in, it's a Kochek. So he's Kochek. Yeah, he's not very happy about that, but Tarzan's raised with gorillas and everything, and he speaks with the gorillas, which leads us to another convenient plot point. This ship arrives, and on the ship is Jane. What's her surname? Tarzan and Jane. I want to say Foster. I'm going to say Foster. Jane Foster and her father, and they are kind of explorers, and they want to learn about the gorillas. And this bad guy, whose name I've already forgotten, but is voiced by Brian Blessed, which I think is really unfair, because Brian Blessed is a legend. We shouldn't have him voicing a villain. Is with them to sort of help them, but it's quite obvious from the start he's going to be a bad guy. I mean, even if it's not clear straight from the off. He just looks like a bad guy. He has that strong jawline like the bad guys have. And, you know, he's obviously going to be a bad guy and he's got nefarious intentions regarding the gorillas. But Tarzan obviously sees Jane, I think, and I know he rescues her. That's it. He rescues her from the jaguar who's going after her, and conveniently manages to be able to completely replicate her voice, which there's no indication that Tarzan's parents are even British. Maybe there is. I don't remember there being anything that they're British. So it's not even like we even know that his native tongue would have been. It would have been English anyway, but Jane speaks to him and he just kind of repeats her words back to her in sort of perfectly. Now, I don't know about you, if you're ever trying to learn a foreign language, and no, I'm not going into a segue of, you know, Babbel or Duolingo or a sponsor or anything here, obviously not. Replicating the sounds, and I've got perfect pitch, so I replicate sounds better than the average person does, but I still can't hear a sentence in another language that I don't speak and be able to instantly repeat back that sentence, you know, perfectly. So again, just like with Pocahontas, when she seemed to be able to speak to John Smith in English, Tarzan miraculously manages to pick up on English pretty quickly. He also seems to be able to replicate just noises in general. He's like a lyrebird or something, can just replicate them. But, you know, that's a bit of an empty plot point. But I found Jane to be an absolute sweetheart. I really, really liked her as a female protagonist. I thought she was sweet, understanding, caring, but just with the right amount of attitude to her as well, which I obviously already like. I love a bit of sass. And she had that. We had that same thing like we do with Beauty and the Beast, where her father's there and looks nothing like her, just like with Maurice and Belle. Don't know why that is, but yeah, this weedy little father, and yet she's this kind of lovely, tall, dainty girl. So yep. And then obviously the bad guy, I think, has decided he wants to take the gorillas back to England with him to, you know, sell to zoos and stuff. And so obviously has to fight them, but in the process, Kochek dies. But by which time he has accepted that, you know, Tarzan is his son, even though he's not a gorilla. We get a lot of frolicking in this film of Tarzan with the other monkeys and stuff like that. We have Tarzan as a baby, Tarzan as a child. He's a really cute baby. Tarzan as a child and Tarzan as an adult. Obviously, Tarzan and Jane fall in love. That's blatantly obvious. And she ends up staying. I think her and her dad end up staying because they've got to go back to England. But I think they decide to stay at the end. And at the end, she's kind of assimilated herself into the life of, you know, the jungle and living with the gorillas and Tarzan and everything cute like that. So I thought it's a great film. I like the soundtrack. I do like Phil Collins as much as he's questionable as a person. I do quite like his music and the way he writes music. And obviously, You'll Be in My Heart, another classic Disney song, which in the previous video, by the way, I say song regarding I Can Go the Distance at Disney. I say film regarding I Can Go the Distance. I meant song, obviously. It's an iconic song that is often played in the Disney parks. Same with You'll Be in My Heart. I like the way that Carla sings it to him, and then obviously you get Phil Collins' version sort of comes in with it there. Comes in after that, and it's just a really beautiful song. Especially, I'm sure there's another song in it that's really got on the fact that, you know, obviously he's growing up and she's going to lose him, and that's very, very sweet. Obviously she doesn't actually lose him because he stays there, but Tarzan was a lovely, lovely film. Really sweet, really enjoyed it. As I said at the beginning, I didn't like seeing the bit. I don't know if we need to have it so graphic. I think we could have just found out that she'd had a baby that had been killed by a jaguar. I don't think we needed to see the baby gorilla in peril so much. I would have taken that out. But where are we going to put Tarzan? Tough call. I think it's going in at B again. It's not quite A tier, definitely not S tier. It has its flaws. But I don't think I'd quite put it next to Mulan. It's not one I'd choose to watch over and over again. So whereas Mulan I have watched over and over again. Same with Pocahontas. But yeah, so B. finally, our last one of the 1990s and our first, no, I'd say our first sequel that actually needed to exist. And that is Toy Story 2. Now, arguably, why does it need to exist more than Rescuers Down Under? And I'll tell you why. Because Rescuers was a bad film and did not need a sequel. Toy Story was a great film. And bear in mind they're creating Toy Story 5, I believe coming out the end of this year, possibly 2026. It was announced at D23. Yeah, Toy Story needed a second film. It's an entire franchise now. It's an entire series. And obviously this is what started the fact of it actually being a series rather than an individual film. Toy Story 2. I would actually say I slightly prefer to Toy Story 1. And I know it's going to be controversial. And honestly, I say that. I actually think they're about the same. Makes it pretty obvious where it's going to go on the tier list. But the bringing in of the few new characters, Jessie is amazing. I love Jessie. She's so strong, she's so sassy, yet she's so sweet and kind. And she sees the best in people. And I love that about her. I think Joan Cusack does a fantastic job of voicing her. And that When She Loved Me song is truly heartbreaking about her story with her original owner, Emily. And how Emily eventually, you know, abandons her to, you know, she donates her. And she feels she's never going to be abandoned. And it's just sad the fact that we know that eventually all that's going to happen to all toys. Bullseye the horse, a great accompaniment to Toy Story, to Woody being a cowboy, is brilliant. And obviously the prospector, we all think he's going to be good and then turns out to not be so good, and he likes being, you know, just in a box. He doesn't like being played with because nobody ever wanted to buy him as a toy and he's jealous of that. And then finally, the second Buzz Lightyear obviously going to the toys shop and with Woody to Al's Toy Barn, and then finding other Buzz Lightyears, and one of them obviously breaks out the thing and acts exactly like he did, and the reality of seeing how far he's come as a character, realising he's a toy and how it's actually not that awful being a toy. And then finally, the Barbies. The Barbies were great, and I'm so glad that they bring Barbie back in later films. And the thing I found recently, which I didn't know, was Barbie in Toy Story 2 and I think possibly, I don't know about 3, I'm not even sure she's in 4, I haven't seen it yet. It's voiced by Jodie Benson, who did the voice of the Little Mermaid, so obviously has a place in my heart. And I didn't realise that it was Jodie Benson that did the voice of Barbie, if you didn't know. There's a new little thing you learnt today. Yeah, the Barbie characters, especially at the end where she's doing the smiling thing and she goes, "Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, my face is killing me." And bear in mind that I work in customer service, I'm a bartender. It does feel like that. It does feel like that. So I think the memory on my phone is about to run out, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly. So Toy Story 2, absolutely amazing film, going in at the S tier because it is as easily as good as the first one, if not maybe better. So what did you think of my tier list of the 1990s, or particularly these last 4 films? Please make sure to comment below and let me know what you thought. As I said in the previous video, love to read your comments and reply to them. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and a subscribe. Obviously, I'm quite a new channel, so the more subscribers, the better for me. The more motivation I'll get to keep making these videos. But, you know, the comments are giving me really good motivation, so I love that. And I'm just generally enjoying doing this. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!